If you know your brand should be doing more, but you're stuck between vague templates, random AI tools, and content that doesn't feel like you, that's about to change. In this video, I'm showing you the exact AI-powered workflow I use to help founders build brands that actually convert without stressing yourself out, diluting your message, or feeling like you're taking on way too much. It's built on one big idea. Your brand doesn't start with prompts, it starts with you. Let me tell you the one thing most people miss. AI can't clarify your brand. It can only amplify what's already there. So if you feed it vague, surface-level inputs, you'll get vague, surface-level results. That's why so many founders risk ending up sounding like everyone else and then wondering why they aren't taking things to the next level. This workflow flips that. I mean, you know your product or service has great potential, but you need to connect with your audience so they get it too. So real brand transformation doesn't start with branding templates or generic prompts. It starts with real, raw thinking pulled straight from your brain. And here's the key, because when your strategy is rooted in your voice, AI becomes a powerful tool because it's building on something true and unique to you. Not just generic pools of language in a database that it thinks will work best for you. It simply can't know what's deeply seated in your brain. So here's what I'm going to walk you through. The exact workflow I've used one-to-one with founders who were stuck. Not because their product wasn't great, but because their messaging didn't match the value they were delivering. This system is also fully self-led. And yes, AI is built in, but not to replace your thinking, to help you process it. You'll see how it guides you step by step through clarifying your beliefs, your positioning, and your value. So by the time you bring AI into the mix, it's building content from your truth and strategy, not guessing. And I'll show you exactly how that works in just a minute. But the first thing you need to know, and I've already hinted at this, is that real brand strategy starts with raw thinking. Most people try to reverse engineer clarity from the outside, picking cool sounding phrases or copying someone else's content. But what actually works is looking inward first. That's why the first part of this system is built around worksheets designed to pull out what's already in your head, your beliefs, your intentions, your difference. And at this stage, we're not crafting perfect messaging. It's about surfacing what's true, even if it's messy. Some of my clients can articulate their ideas clearly right away. Others really struggle, and that's okay. This approach works for both, because you don't need polished sentences. You can literally brain dump, repeat yourself, ramble. It all helps. One of my clients works in a really niche space, lighting design, and went through this process. And when she received her brand strategy output, she was almost emotional. She said, "This finally feels like the soul of my business put into words." And that's the goal. So, just to give you a bird's eye view, here's how the full system flows from start to finish. It's built around a simple cycle. Reflect, refine, build. Step 1. Reflect. This happens through the founder worksheets designed to help you extract unfiltered, high-quality thinking around key brand elements. Things like your purpose, audience, differentiator, positioning, and more. Step 2. Refine. Here's where you bring in my custom branding assistant. Once you've written your thoughts, you feed them into the assistant using prompts I've built specifically for each phase. It helps you clarify, organize, and expand on what you've written, turning raw thinking into clear, usable insights. Step 3. Build. As you progress through each phase, you'll be building out your brand DNA strategy blueprint section by section. This becomes a complete document, not just words on a page, but a usable brand system. One that guides your messaging, your content, your offers, even how you lead your team. And finally, step 4. Scale. Once your strategy is built, we feed it into your very own AI assistant trained on your voice, your positioning, and your brand DNA. So it can generate aligned content, messaging, and ideas that actually sound like you. Let me give you a quick example of what this looks like in action. One of the very first worksheets I use is all about purpose, not your tagline or vision statement, but the real why behind what you do. And instead of asking you to pick from a list or write a clever sentence, I ask you questions like these. And when I show you these, take a moment yourself to think how you may answer that in your head. What difference does your brand make in people's lives? What drives you to do this work beyond making money? If your brand didn't exist, what gap would be left in the world? These aren't questions for your website, they're questions for you. And you don't have to get them right, you just have to be honest. Because that freeform thinking, even if it's messy, even if it contradicts itself, that's what we're going to pull from to start shaping your strategy. This is where we begin to move from gut feeling to structured insight. So let me show you how this works. I'm in my custom branding assistant, and I've preloaded this so it's easier to review. It starts with the custom prompt. These are my answers to the guiding questions around creating my purpose statement. Consider what I've written and form them into 3 potential purpose statements. And you can see the 3 questions. What difference does your brand make in people's lives? What drives you to do this work beyond making money? And if your brand didn't exist, what gap would be left in the world? And you can pause the video if you like to see my answers for your own interest. But for the purpose of this overview, I'll show you what happens with the output. And as you can see, it gives you 3 interpretations of what it's getting from your purpose. And it summarizes this for you. Essentially, what you're doing at this stage is thinking which one resonates the most with you. And for me, it's really between 1 and 3. It really is getting what I was trying to get across. So I use my next prompt, and remember, the custom AI is expecting these prompts and programmed to work through these as I have instructed it to. So I say, I like 1 and 3 the most. Turn this purpose statement into a more comprehensive version of approximately 75 words, which it does, and I'll just read it to you. My purpose is to give founders the clarity and confidence to articulate the soul of their business. I help them cut through the noise, uncover what truly makes them distinct, and shape language that finally reflects the depth of what they do. Through this transformation, they gain direction, renewed conviction, and a foundation they can build from, one that not only makes sense to others, but feels true to them. This is absolutely spot on for me. I have no changes or refinements I want to make for this. This output isn't something you post on your site. It's what lives inside your brand DNA strategy blueprint and sets the tone for everything else you'll create. And just so you know, as you move through each new phase of the system, these AI-supported expansions get more detailed and specific, depending on what we're working on. So purpose might be a paragraph or 2, but when we get to audience, positioning, or differentiator, the volume and depth scale up with it. And if you're finding this helpful so far, please hit like and subscribe. I've got plenty more of this type of content coming your way. And that purpose example is just one piece. Inside the full brand transformation system, which I've linked below, I go through 10 more phases just like this to extract what really matters. We look very deeply into your audience, your differentiator, your positioning, archetypes, and more. Even a full brand interview, all designed to help you build a complete aligned brand DNA strategy blueprint. It's comprehensive for a reason, because if you want a brand that truly connects and converts, you can't build it on half-truths and loose ideas. You need the full picture. Now let me show you what this actually looks like once the assistant has been trained on a complete brand strategy. For this purpose, I'm going to demo my personal one for my business. Client ones are under NDA, so not really possible, but this should give you a good idea. I've preloaded this so we can just go through it with ease. As you can see, I start by asking it, what are the USPs of the brand transformation system? Again, you can pause the video to read the answers. I'll just focus on a few elements. I think 6 sums it up well. Specifically designed for founders who've outgrown surface-level marketing and want a more meaningful, aligned approach to scaling their business. I then went on to ask it, how do you suggest I strategically position my USPs to have the most resonance with my target audience? Explain your reasoning. As you can see, it gives comprehensive strategic advice around positioning, and they're all very good outputs, and the first one really resonates with me. Clarity is something I talk about a lot. It's super important. If you don't have clarity, you can't progress your business effectively at all. Clarity is often harder to get, but with this system, it completely unblocks that. I then go on to ask it, what's a bold opinion or point of view our brand transformation system could own in our industry? And its suggestion makes complete sense. Brand clarity is the highest ROI activity a founder can invest in, because every decision, message, and dollar performs better when it's aligned. And it's so true. And the supporting words resonate as well. You don't need more marketing. You need a brand that knows what it stands for. As I've said before, marketing is an amplifier. You need to make sure it amplifies a business that's aligned to its audience. And finally, I asked about a client testimonial. This is a client testimonial that came in yesterday. Can you suggest how we could use this? And you can read that, of course. But I'll jump to the output, and it has some great suggestions. And I like how it positions this. In just a few hours, I had a full brand strategy and a custom AI assistant I now use for everything, from communications to strategic planning. I also couldn't resist asking one very last question. If you had to sum up in one sentence why a business owner should consider going with the brand transformation system, what would it be? Again, it hits the nail on the head. The brand transformation system gives you the clarity, strategy, and tools, including a custom AI assistant, to articulate your difference, scale your message, and lead your business with confidence. Imagine having this for your business: full knowledge, complete alignment, and the ability to scale at speed. And this is where it all comes together: the custom AI assistant you've trained with your own brand DNA. This isn't just some prompt library in a shiny wrapper. This is a strategic asset, a tool that knows your brand better than most team members ever will. You can use it to create aligned content, things like bios, taglines, emails, posts, sure. But you can also ask it strategic questions, things like, what would my brand say about this trend? How should I position this new offer? What's a consistent way to respond to this client objection? It acts like a second brain, one that's fluent in your voice, your beliefs, your positioning, because you trained it that way. And here's the best part: the knowledge base that powers it. You can keep building it over time. If you've got a lead magnet, an offer document, a sales page, run them through the assistant first to make sure they're sharp and on brand, then add them to the knowledge base. That way, everything it knows about your business gets stronger, clearer, and more aligned the more you use it. It's so much more than an AI tool. It's your brand's strategic advisor, and you will have built it. Remember, it's a self-led system with video guidance all the way through, and I'm always on hand to provide support if needed. These are just a brief insight into the sorts of interactions you can have with a custom AI trained on your brand strategy blueprint. You can go way deeper, of course, but I hope this gives you an insight into how powerful these systems can be. I can't emphasize enough what makes this so different from every other AI tool out there. This assistant didn't come from a prompt pack or a template. It came from you. That's why it works. That's why the content it creates actually sounds like you, because it's been built on you, not for the masses. It's not bland. It's not generic. It's not some Frankenstein copy of someone else's brand. It's the result of doing the deep work first and then using AI to scale it. Now, as I mentioned, there are many more elements to the brand strategy piece positioned through worksheets. I've shown you thinking around purpose, which is only one element, but it will give you the idea of this framework. It starts with your unfiltered thinking. It sharpens that into real strategy. And it ends with a brand that actually feels like you and converts like crazy. You're building way more than messaging. You're building a strategic foundation you can scale. Content, offers, positioning, team alignment. It all gets easier when your brand is clear. And the best part? You don't need to hire a team or figure it out from scratch. The brand transformation system gives you the full framework, with AI prompts, custom tools, and guidance every step of the way. If you're ready to build a brand that finally matches the quality of what you do, the link is in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow. See you in the next one.